That's better. I don't mind. This is already hellish enough. Might as well push it. Okay. Today we are going to be reading this amazing work of art called Diary of an 8-Bit Warrior Crafting Alliances. This is going to be the most hellish thing I've ever done, but I might as well do it. Written by Cube Kid. I woke up before the sun even rose and couldn't fall back asleep. Of course, Mom and Dad didn't have this problem. They've been working the fields all week. Maybe that's why they finally warmed up to the idea of me becoming a warrior. These days, they're just too tired to argue. At least they decided to give me a bigger allowance. I recalled the conversation with Mom the other day. Use these emeralds to enchant your robe with frost protection too, okay, honey? I don't want you getting sick. I don't think there is such an enchantment, but thanks anyway. Okay, we'll be sure to eat more steak. Cookies won't keep your hunger bar up, but cookies are tasty. And wear your leather armor underneath your robe today. If you fall again during training, your health bar won't get so low. This is great so far. Mom, armor doesn't protect against falling damage. Oh, alright, dear. Jello was sound asleep as well. From inside his box, he made quiet little sounds. Burble, burble. The baby slime equivalent of snoring. I put on my boots and grabbed my sword on my way out the door. It was still dark, but soon, as I made my way to school, the square sun crawled over the gloomy gray houses and shed pink light upon the gloomy gray streets. To a villager, this was a precious time. At this hour, the monsters were crawling back to a forest that never knew the sun. In their absence, a sleepy village was now wrestling awake. I went for a morning jog. I thought it'd help clear my mind. It didn't. 5 minutes in, my anger flared like a redstone torch because I saw the posters. They're everywhere. Those posters. Pebble is on most of them. I don't always kill mobs, but when I do, I kill them in one shot. Okay, this is great. There were nearly as many posters with Emerald, Steve, Mike, the mayor, and even Earth. Earth. We took
Earth.
he took Earth. He took off on Sunday, from what I heard, carrying half a village supply room with him. He took two donkeys, each with chests, that he loaded up before stuffing his own pockets. All 3 inventories filled with stacks of iron, enchanted books, in short, our most valuable items. Definitely turned traitor, definitely sided with the mobs, and definitely offered them more than just piles of shiny loot. The right information can be worth more than diamonds. And that would explain how the mobs pinpointed their school so easily. He left a trail of items on his way out of town. The heaviest stuff. Weapons. Armor. He was most likely weighed down. He most likely wanted to escape quickly. Fear is stronger than greed. A few posters had the names of many who fought on Saturday. The posters didn't have any pictures, but I'm including them in this diary. They fought just as hard as Pebble did, after all. Oh my god, the amount of names. This is just a collection of painfully generic names. Suddenly, a freezing wind picked up. I raised the collar on my robe. Then I glanced at the distant houses, wondering whether Breeze could be out there, somewhere, at this early hour. Who is she? Was she telling the truth? Did her father really send her to spy on me? When it comes to her, there's only one thing I know for sure. I glanced down at my health bar, at the row of little red hearts, and I remembered. I entered the school and walked empty halls. I checked every empty classroom. Surprisingly, one room was occupied. The head teacher's office on the 2nd floor. Professor Brio? He smirked. Morning. I nodded. Morning. By the way, we weren't exchanging greetings. We were stating a welcome fact. I sat down, either on some stairs or in a chair, depending on which universe you come from. I take it you're the head teacher now, I said. Something like that. He adjusted his glasses. I caught a glimpse of his purple eyes. I'll be overseeing everyone's progress from here on out. I suppose you could say it's time to kick things up a notch. He rose. Come with me.
Just stop reading right there. Jesus Christ.
This is already horrible and we're only 9 minutes in. I followed him to the tower, to the very top, where we looked out at the eastern wall. I must say, Brio murmured, I'm surprised they were able to rebuild that mushroom shop as well as they did. He turned to me. I believe you caused more damage there than a wither blast. Sorry, I just didn't. You survived. You used what you had and survived. Honestly, I'm impressed. Of course, you couldn't have done that without Breeze's help. She saved you. Surely you're wondering how she managed that. Yes. How? Leaping 4, swiftness 2, strength 3, stone skin 5. That last one costs a fortune to craft, and has a very bad taste from what I understand. I blinked. Potions? Yes, she chugged so many off. She chugged so She chugged so many, she made herself sick. That's why she's staying home today. Her father insists. So that's it, huh? Potions. You were expecting a more interesting explanation. Special powers, magic, perhaps. I guess so. Cheer up then. True magic does exist beyond enchantments and potion effects, and someday we will reclaim it. Reclaim? As in get back? As in we once had magic? I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Before I could ask, however, Brio continued. By the way, I understand that the pigman had a weapon that found its way into your inventory. I will take that from you now. What? Why? You really need to ask? Whatever. I handed him Erk's hook. I was never that into fishing anyway. Besides, knowing my luck, if I tried using that thing, I'd reel in a creeper by accident. Rio smirked again, stuffed the weapon into a pocket, and turned back to the streets below. Beautiful, isn't it? This is the last remaining village of all of eastern Minecraftia. For hundreds of thousands of blocks in every direction, nothing else remains. What line? What line? What line? Okay, I'll just take that as I'm not supposed to read anything then. He shook his head. There are survivors, I've heard, scattered here and there, but they're all hiding underground now. We are, perhaps, Minecraftia's only hope. By the way, Brio wears sunglasses. As the mobs evolve, so too must our village. We will fortify our walls, upgrade our defenses, create new weapons, research more efficient farming methods, push ourselves to the very limit. This is Minecraftia's last stand against Herobrine.
Hello.
Hey, hello, Ferret.
Hello.
We're reading a Minecraft book that my dad got me.
Okay.
It's great. He turned to me. It's going to be quite a show. I can't believe Ferret is fucking dead. Well, Brio wasn't joking. Those strange men in black robes really did kick things up a notch. They were everywhere at school. They also carried sticks. No, not carried. Wielded. And threateningly so. This one kid, Rock, he's not a bad student.
Blue, you
Decent.
will absolutely regret talking in this chat ever if you say that one more time.
Decent. decent scores, knows how to use a sword, but he was hanging around in the hall for too long after Mob History 2 started, chatting with his friends. Well, one of those guys came up to him and tapped him on his shoulder with a stick. "What's wrong with you, punk?" Stick guy barked. "The mobs don't goof off and skip class. The only thing they skip is lunch, so they can study even more." "I'll say, the mobs probably don't talk back to their superiors." He jabbed Rock with the stick. "This is your second offense. Don't make it a third." We heard it all from inside the classroom. We soon found out what happens during the third offense. After Rock sat down, he started looking around, looking out the window, anywhere but at the teacher. Minutes later, two of those guys burst into the room, charged up, and pulled Rock out of his chair. So fast, they literally yanked him out of his boots. Suddenly, the teacher's lecture on mob history became the most interesting thing in the universe. Okay. I don't know when this came out. Oh, it doesn't really matter. After seeing that, we took notes. We paid attention. We stared forward and nodded our heads enthusiastically. Anything to prevent a visit from them. He could be lurking anywhere out there in the hall. Mr. Beetroot, the history teacher, continued. After several months of existing in the overworld, a zombie will turn into a skeleton. The skeleton will grow smarter. The skeleton will run away if injured. Meanwhile, I thought, after 30 minutes of Mob History 2, Runt will turn into a zombie. Runt will make moaning sounds. Runt will head towards the nearest door and break it down. Even Pebble wasn't immune to their harassment anymore. After Mob History, he was chatting with Sarah in the hall. Their backs were to Pebble's rocker. I read that as Debbie. Why? Why did I read that as Debbie? Okay. Brio, like a creeper who chugged an invisibility potion, crept up the locker and looted it while the two of them talked. Pebble whirled around. "Hey, that's my stuff. Ender Noob! Ender Noob!" Fucking Ender Noob. Brio smiled. "If by hey you mean sir, by my you mean your, and by Ender Noob you mean, I really hope you enjoy those delicious steaks because you're awesome and amazing, then yes, you are absolutely correct." What? First offense, don't be late again. Of course, come lunchtime, the first thing Pebble did was head to the cafeteria. Guess who was serving? If he was serving, the food might have actually been interesting. Steak wouldn't have been on the menu, but anything a cow might have offered would have been infinitely better than what was available today. You see, some of Brio's men were behind the counter, and they cooked up something extra special for all the kids on the naughty students who should be punished list. No? Okay then. How about some coarse dirt stew? A gravel sandwich? Cooked spider legs? Still no? Then why not skip to dessert? You can try a slice of our nice slime pie. Look, I get it. I understand what they're doing. They're toughening us up for when the real battles begin. They're forcing us to pay attention, to remember everything, to never make mistakes. Someday, our lives will depend on it. I know that. But isn't this just going a little too far? The average age of a student is 12 after all. Sure, we're no longer a single block tall, and golems no longer hand us poppies when they're bored, but we're still kids. Aren't we? It didn't get any easier for Pebble. During the daily running drill, they were screaming at him constantly. I will say, even though he's a punk, he didn't lose his cool. Even when Drill and two others were shouting at him at the same time, it seemed like his mind was elsewhere. The whole time we ran, Brio walked among us, arms crossed. His voice was raised in a dull monotone. The mobs have retreated once again, but they will return. And who knows what they'll try next. Becoming a good warrior is why you pay attention in class. Defending your village is why you spend hours reading about mobs. You swing swords at practice dummies so future generations can live in peace. Someday, we'll all live on a sandy beach. We'll eat cocoa beans. We'll drink watermelon juice. We'll work on our tans, which is something zombies can never do. Perhaps that's why they dislike us so much. Hold on. Okay, I think I'm about ready to continue. Middlefat is dead. I have a dream. You'll love to do your homework. You'll listen to your teachers. You will train at least 5 hours per day. You bedrock digging, pufferfish eating, Enderman chasing, gold armor wearing cactus jockeys. At first glance, one might think that this is perhaps a new type of slime mob. Nah, it's just me. Resting. Yeah, resting. Hey, At least I didn't collapse face down in some dirt. It's getting even more competitive getting even more competitive at school too. In those brief moments when students can actually hang out between classes, everyone stood around in their little groups. Team Craft, Team Noob, Team All Girls, Team Redstone, Team Pebble, growing in number. Team Emerald, good friends with Team Pebble. And of course, Team Runt, which everyone seems to be against lately. Of course, the main character, kind of like in every other book that exists ever. Team Runt. Why? What happened to kids asking me for building advice? What happened to the green egg kid? No one had even congratulated me on Saturday. I took down a big boss using a bigger mushroom, and there was almost no mention of it. In fact, I was walking down the hall with my friends today, and Ariel gave us what they called a look. First, she glared at us, tilted her head, rolled her eyes, moved her shoulders in a confrontational way. Then she turned back to Emerald and Sarah, said something, and glared at us again while Sarah did the same. Whatever they were saying, it wasn't good. Other times, as I passed different groups of kids, I heard stuff like, "What's his level now? I'm way better at farming than her. She actually calls herself a warrior? Hey, have you seen her record book? He's still wearing those hideous brown robes." I totally saw Pebble and Sarah hanging out the other day. I heard Runt and that weird girl. What's her name again? Anyway, Ariel said they took out a giant pigman. Not that I believe it. Those two noobs? Psh, come on. Before it was time for class, the team strolled down the hall together, real slow. At one point, Team Pebble passed Team Redstone. They gave each other the look, did the whole soldier thing, the head tilting, and took off to their respective classes. I'm better than him. We're better than them. That girl's trash tier. That kid's an uber noob. What kind of armor do they have? Uber noob. Fucking uber noob. Even the members of Team Noob look down on me now, including that kid with the combat score of a door. Welcome to my life. Aw, I feel so fucking sorry for you. It has always been like this, ever since school started. But lately, things have gotten way worse. Feel sorry for me. I wonder if it's the same way on Earth. Later today, there was a special after-school activity, digging a deadfall field. Yeah, after digging about 200 holes myself, it feels as though I've dug to my hands in lava. Oh, and don't ask what that golem is doing up there on the wall. The only way to get up onto the wall is by climbing a ladder, and last time I checked, golems could do that. Who knows? Maybe the golems are getting smarter too, just like the mobs. Maybe next year, a golem will be running for mayor. I'd vote for him. Speaking of the mayor, he just gave his speech just before dinner time. We will build our walls so high and so thick. Any travelers mapping this area will think they've run into an extreme hills biome. Everyone cheered at this. Let the mobs attack. Let the creepers blow themselves up all night. In the morning, we'll come out and thank them for helping us mine dirt and sand. We'll thank them since we don't have to wear down our shovels. More cheers. It was 10 times louder than Drill shouting, "The eastern wall will not fall." I would build a great, great wall. I will make the creepers pay. Remember everything that happened in school yesterday? Today was exactly the same. Also, there was a new special activity today. Escaping Zombies 1. Drill changed into a dark green robe and painted his face with lime green dye. He was the zombie. He also hid in the weirdest places. Imagine this. 1 second, you're just going to your next class on time. Business. And then you think, I listened to my last class. I wrote things down. I asked some questions. Things are going good. Then someone looking very much like a freaky cross between a zombie, a witch, and a creeper bursts out of the supply room nearby, roaring, slobbering, running straight for you. Makes the Uber noob say, agreed. Slobber running down his chin, mixed with green dye to resemble watery slime. Cave spiders, please move over. Cave spiders, please move over. This is real terror. I'm not sure whether the green drill was intentional or what, but if Drill's goal was to make the girls scream louder than the note block on the highest setting, well, mission accomplished. The boys screamed too. I mean, no one had ever told us about this. Everyone thought he was a new kind of zombie. As one might expect, anyone Drill caught was humiliated. They had to wear a dark green robe like his for the rest of the day. By the way, that was just the start for those poor kids. Later, Pebble, Donkey, and Rock took out their anger on such kids by dunking them in a well. I wasn't one of them, though. Not today. No, my friends. Okay, I already read that. When Drill burst through that door, I ran so fast, I could have passed for an Enderman. Had I been wearing purple sunglasses and a black or dark gray robe. By the way, for the past 3 days, we had to help repair some damaged areas of the village. That didn't work out so well. I mean, my building score is pretty good, but let's just say there are some kids who can't say the same. They made many, many mistakes, otherwise known as building fails. For any of my dear readers on Earth, I will point out that building in this world isn't as easy as building in the computer game. Ever tried lugging a block of cobblestone around? Try it sometime. Hold on, I'm going to spam ping middle. And here are a bunch of like building fails. This is bad. There was once a man named Herobrine, Brio called out as we ran and ran. Sorry, not once. He's still alive. Anyway, he's lived for a very long time. He's seen this world's earliest days. He lived at a time when there were towns, castles, and vast kingdoms instead of just simple villages. When ancient temples weren't ancient, when desert temples weren't buried in sand, when abandoned mine shafts weren't abandoned. Bork. By Digitalis. When villagers weren't known as villagers, but another name, long since forgotten. When there was such a thing as magic. This is what we are up against. This is the enemy we face. We must not let him win. Just like on Monday, I was so exhausted after training that, again, I collapsed face first in some grass. At least nothing bad has happened to me lately, I thought. I haven't been yelled at too much. I haven't been singled out. It's not so bad. But when I rolled onto my back and opened my eyes, Drill was staring down at me. Congratulations, Runt. Your unit has been selected for a special role in Project Squidboat. I rubbed my eyes. That's great, sir. But what's Project Squidboat? The combat teacher gave me a toothy grin. I'm just thankful he wasn't shouting, since his face was a block from mine. Tomorrow, you and Emerald are going outside the wall. I didn't say anything, but I thought, oh, okay, that's all then. We'll just go outside and wave to the mobs. Maybe go into their cozy little forest and join them for some tea and cookies. So today, Project Squidboat has officially started. Basically, it's a class on mob psychology. In other words, the mayor wants to learn more about how the mobs think. For whatever reason, my combat unit was chosen to do the dirty work. Aww. $200 pages. 250 pages. Around that. We're going to be here for a long time. Since Breeze still isn't at school, and since Earth isn't around anymore, that meant it was just Emerald and me. Her. Okay, let's go over what Project Squidboat is all about. See that pile of cobblestone over there? That was an area Brio called the billing site, or simply the site. Emerald and I were to leave safety of the wall by ourselves and begin building a house in this location. No, don't sleep. Stay. We can still have more people that are in here that generating games. At the same time, the rest of the students were to stand on the wall with bows and arrows while they watched us build. What was the purpose of this, you ask? The idea was we build a house in front of the mob's forest and see what the mobs did. Would they attack the house? Would they totally destroy it? My guess was that the mobs weren't going to dance around, hold hands, and sing songs. But apparently Brio and Drill needed us to build a house in order to figure that out. Of course, one might ask why grown adults sent two 12-year-olds outside instead of going out themselves. Real brave, those guys. First, said Brio, we want you two to make an odd-looking house. The weirdest house you can possibly imagine. Drill added. Of course, Emerald flashed them a grin. Leave it to us. Our house will be the strangest house you've ever seen. Funky with a capital F. With those words, she patted me on the back and gave me a look that said, don't say anything to make them angry, noob. Because I don't feel like doing 100 push-ups right now. Then she pushed me forward and said, I think it's time for someone strong and brave to lead this project. Great. I took a deep breath, staring at the gate in front of us. The gate in the eastern wall is a dual-lever operated iron door system. If one door is blown up, there's still another door to keep the mobs at bay. Another village building code. Fun fact, the doors can be opened only from the inside. Another fact, when Emerald and I stepped down into the plains, Drill shut the gate behind us. And yet another fact, when Drill shut the gate, I wanted to cry and dig a hole in the ground and cover the hole with dirt and curl up into a ball. Emerald was looking all around. Listen, she said, you build the house, and I'll watch your back. Why me? Come on, Screamy wants us to build a weird-looking house, right? That's your thing. What's that supposed to mean? She rolled her eyes. Dude, you made a furnace house. You defeated a boss with a giant mushroom. You're pretty much the king of weird. Hold on. You're pretty much the king of weird. Besides, you have absolutely no fashion sense. I mean, look at your robe and that cloak. Whatever. I grabbed the block of sand from my inventory. As long as it means you'll stop talking. She crossed her arms and looked away. You know, you could be such a jerk. But she looked back when I started digging and placing the foundation. Sand. What are you doing? She hissed. We're supposed to build a house, not a sandcastle. I ignored her, keeping my eye on the forest, just in case the mobs decided to rush us. The slightest movement out there, and I was gone. If a cloud looked too strange, or some bat gave me a funny look, poof. Even the minecart and powered rails would have nothing on me. Nothing. I didn't see anything moving around though. Soon, my masterpiece was finished. Yeah, a cactus house, with a roof made of melon blocks. Drill had given us a ton of building materials after all. It was pretty much the strangest building I could think of, given the supplies. When we got back, Drill wasn't just smiling. He was beaming like an Enderman in a desert. He was beaming like a creeper in a cat-free zone. Like a mushroom named Binky. That last one probably doesn't make sense to you. You see, Binky was this mushroom I met once. And it was like 10 times happier than a normal cow. So like smiling like that mushroom means smiling a lot. Seriously, never mind. I honestly forgot what I was talking about by trying to explain this to you. Anyway, Drew was happy, okay. Well done, he said. Well done. Like a noob hugging a blaze. Still looking at my house. Brion nodded in approval. Then I took a spot on the wall with Max's stump, who applauded my new creation. The Pebble, Donkey, and Rock said it was the stupidest looking house they'd ever seen. That wasn't the point, noobs. Wasn't that the point, actually? Then we waited, hidden behind the raised sections of wall. Before long, a group of zombies rushed out of the forest to inspect my cactus house. They were speaking in the ancient tongue again, so I couldn't understand what they were saying. But they were obviously confused. Then the zombies got angry. They took out some axes and began chopping at my cactus house. They chopped and chopped until there was almost nothing left except for a few cactus blocks scattered in the sand. They actually took most of it with them. One zombie even roared angrily, and then he kicked a mine cactus block as hard as he could. It went sailing off into the plains. My lovely cactus house! How could they be so disrespectful? After the zombies vanished into the woods, Drill stood up. So the greenies aren't as bright as we thought, he said. Runt's house confused them for a second anyway. Emerald sighed. That doesn't mean much. Runt's house had me confused. It's not very hard to confuse you, Max said. Now don't fight, said Rio, because you two are going back out there. Emerald and I looked at each other before exclaiming simultaneously, "What?" It was stage 2 of Project Squidboat. This time, we had to build a beautiful house. Princess Winerella decided to be the one to build that. Her house was one might expect, except she added a sign. I forgot to do that. Again, we took off back to the wall, and again the zombies came to inspect the house. A zombie took one look at the sign, grunted angrily, and kicked the sign over. Then the zombies shouted something, and even more zombies came out. They don't seem to notice us, Max whispered. He was right, we were hiding, but there were over 100 of us. Surely one of them should have seen us peeking from behind the wall. They must have really poor eyesight, I whispered back. Maybe it's the sunlight. Stump nodded. We could use this to our advantage somehow. Maybe Project Squidboat wasn't such a bad idea. We've learned a lot about the mobs today. By this time, the zombies were chattering away in their low, guttural language. Then they totally trashed Emerald's cute little house. One zombie stomped on every flower. Another zombie even tried eating a flower. As if that wasn't enough, a creeper rushed in and exploded. There was nothing left. Drill came over to us when the mobs went back into the trees. Well, that's it for today, he said. I think we've made some real progress today in understanding the enemy. I stood up. Wait, sir, I would like to try something else. I want to go back out there. A few students gasped. Even Brio looked shocked. What is it, Runt? It's hard to explain. Can I, have a stack of obsidian? At the mention of obsidian, Drill got angry. Obsidian? What are you? I was angrily preparing myself to do 200 push-ups, maybe 300. Brio interrupted him. He grabbed Drill and walked down the wall some ways away, and the two of them talked for a long time. Drill was making all sorts of gestures. Obviously, he thought obsidian would be wasted on a project like this. When they finally came back, Brio said, we have only one stack of obsidian left in the village supply. Irv took the other stack. Will you make good use of it? I nodded. I'm sure. You're really sure? Really sure. You're really, really, really sure you will use this obsidian wisely? Really, really, really sure with an ender creeper on top. I will wisely use this obsidian. Okay then, here is your obsidian. It didn't go exactly like that, but I'm just trying to stress how worried they are. Here's how worried they were. Brio and Drill worriedly exchanged worried glances of worryfulness. Enchanted with worryfulness 7. I hate this book. Worryfulness is probably not an Earth word. If there's something like the Intergalactic Committee on Proper Spelling, please don't report me to them. If you don't report me and you visit me in my village someday, I will have Stump personally bake you. Either 3 cookies or 1 cake. Your choice. Alright, so Brio gave me a stack of obsidian. By the way, I needed to thank the builder noobs for this idea. The kids behind all those building mistakes. Within a minute, I was back outside working on house number 3. I know I've been talking about mushrooms and worryfulness and having my best friend bake you stuff. I'm only 12, okay? My mind wanders. The important thing here is that I was building a house made of obsidian. Yes, an obsidian house was being built. Actually, it wasn't so much a house as it was well, I don't really know what you'd call it. A simple 5x5 box. A large cube made entirely of obsidian. It had no doors, no windows, and no mechanisms of any kind. It could withstand creeper blasts, TNT blasts, and any tool less than diamond. Remember Boom Mountain? The mountain made entirely of TNT? This cube could withstand that. All of that. That's how awesome a cube made of obsidian is. Not only was it mysterious, but the mobs had no way of destroying it. Unless they had diamond pickaxes. And let's face it, if the mobs have diamond pickaxes, well, we've already lost this war. Wasting a stack of obsidian wouldn't matter. The zombies came back a third time, thoroughly confused. They punched the cube, kicked it, swung stone pickaxes at it. The three creepers even blew up right next to it. And when smoke cleared, the cube was still there, unharmed, silently mocking their attempts. After that, the zombies dropped their pickaxes and ran back into the woods. They were afraid. Interesting. Fear of the unknown is the strongest type of fear. I read that somewhere. Stump patted me on the back. Good work, dude. They'll spend days trying to figure that thing out. That means we can relax. I really need to get some baking done. Drill didn't know what to make of the cube. He was standing on the edge of the wall, studying it, scratching his chin, and muttering to himself. When I turned to Brio, he was studying me, in silence. Was he angry? Did I do something wrong? Maybe I had wasted the only obsidian our village had for nothing. I'll just do this one last chapter and then I'll stop. We've been doing this for like about an hour. Yeah, there was a lot more training today, but forget the training. Dude, complaining about training is so 2 days ago. By Friday afternoon, everyone was talking about the cube. After school got out, practically everyone in the village was up on the wall, watching. All we need is popcorn, Mike said to Steve. Steve got the same look he gets when he's talking about pizza. Oh man, butter? Caramel? I'd pay 50 emeralds for even plain popcorn. What am I saying? I'd eat popcorn kernels raw without even cooking them. Actually, what am I watching this cube for? I should be working on recipes. Mike facepalmed. Why did I mention popcorn? Why? Will you two noobs be quiet? Pebble hissed. You're gonna scare off the mobs. Yeah. Those mobs sure were hard at work. It was interesting watching them struggle with that huge obsidian block. You see, the mobs just couldn't stand it. They just had to find out what was up with that thing. They just had to find. They wouldn't be able to rest until they blew it all up or destroyed just a single block so they could find out what was inside. There was nothing inside, teehee, just a torch. They built this dirt staircase alongside it. Then creepers climbed the staircase. Oh yeah, that iron golem was still hanging around. He looked really sad too, with his head always lowered like that. Anyway, back to the cube. The zombie down below started shouting, Ergabo, Jorgabo, Gurgo. I guess the zombie was trying to make sure the creepers exploded at exactly the same time. Not that it helped. According to Max, it just didn't matter. TNT. Anyway, the mobs tried a lot of stuff. TNT, lots of TNT, charged creepers, enchanted iron pickaxes, blocks of TNT mixed with charged creepers. They even tried digging under it to see whether there was an obsidian floor. Psh, just lol at them. As if I wouldn't have thought of that. My building score is 97 now. The noob lords. Noob lords. The zombie spent 15 minutes digging under that thing, and the whole time they were probably thinking, oh, we're gonna dig under it, oh, we're clever. They discovered, oh, so there is an obsidian floor. Lol. One zombie, after he came back up to the surface, was so angry that he kept beating the ground with a shovel over and over. Dude, that zombie looks like really, really mad. Eventually, it started pouring, and the mobs called it a day. Stumpside rained away. Show's over, folks, the mayor called out. It'll be dark soon. Everyone please go inside. I said goodbye to Stump and Max. Emerald was looking at me while I did. It seemed like she wanted to say something to me, although I couldn't imagine what. I walked past her and took off back home through the wet streets, thinking about Breeze and what she might be doing. I'm done. I'm actually done. Let's just end this right now.